Welcome back to the channel, you guys. It is Drop Gems. Yes, the one that can stop everything from happening. No. It is the one. Yes, Drop Gems. We're dropping a gem today on Fright Night 2011. The remake of an original movie, of course, back in the Disney, I believe in the 80s, Fright Night 2011. Look at this. So we're going to judge this movie and criticize this movie, critique this movie, and talk about this movie, and praise this movie, and love this movie, and watch this movie. It is an awesome rant review. There is no doubt about that. And we're going to go through it a little bit here because this movie deserves it. So spoilers ahead. You know that shit. I put it in the description. I'm tired of fucking saying it. I'm tired of saying the same shit. I'm just going to freestyle this shit every single video. Fuck that. Want it to be different, obviously. Same shit I talk. I don't want that. So anyways, we'll get right into it. So Fright Night, the remake. And like I always do, I'm gonna judge this movie alone on its own. So I'm gonna go through the plot at the end. Anyways, check these photos, man. Yeah, CGI, but get the fuck out of here. It's freaky for that second. You want it, you get it. They deliver it. Front door Uber. Anyways, let's talk about this movie before we break it down in the plot and go through it. So you got Anton Yelchin here, a great young actor. You know, God rest his soul, of course. He in this movie is believable. He's phenomenal. I buy him as Charlie Brewster, this kid, you know, this teenager that's thrown into this, you know, vampire. Oh man, and this is how you do vampires, man. Obviously, we all know that. This is how you do vampires. If you want vampires to be scary, I mean, you know, that's the gist of it here. If you want vampires to be scary, then say do it. And they do Fright Night honor in this remake, and they do it even better than the 80 version. And there's no doubt about that. So anyone that says that the 80 version is better than this version, oh fuck, man. I mean, like, what are you smoking back then in the 80s? Let's going down because I want it because I don't get that shit. And let's be honest, people. This movie is better than the 80 version, and I'm always going to say that shit. There's nothing you can say to convince me. I've seen that 80 version millions of times. I come from the 80s, obviously, or whatever I come from, 70s, 60s. Who gives a shit? You know, that movie was good. I didn't say it wasn't good. The original Fright Night. So don't get all fucking panties in the wad, like I said in the comments and nothing. I mean, but this Fright Night, if you want to see a Fright Night, you want to see this. I'm recommending this one. I'm not recommending the 81. I'm recommending this one for you to watch. Awesome fucking rant. Awesome movie. Look at this shit. Watch it. Colin Farrell brings it. He brings it to the role, and you pay him the money to fuck. He acts way better and cooler than that other fucking guy from the 80s version, the head vampire, Mr. Sarandon there. Whatever the fuck his name is. Chris Sarandon. Nobody can fucking remember his name. That's how forgettable that fucking vampire movie with him is as the head vampire. This one, no, you will remember Colin Farrell as this vampire, as this head vampire. Holy shit, what is this guy's fucking name? Thank you, Wikipedia. We'll figure it out. Anyways, Charlie here, you know, he is very well played, like I said, like by Anton, by Mr. Yelchin. He does the fucking job, and there's this dude from Kick-Ass, you know him, Christopher Pence, whatever the fuck his name is. He's good too, and in whatever scenes he's in the beginning, and you love the chemistry between the two. You love the school feel. He's got his friends that are like assholes, and we've all had that, and he wants to be a part of the cool crowd, and Mr. Kick-Ass over there, Mr. Christopher, doesn't want him to be, and he's blackmailing him with some really funny shit. So this movie is so worth the watch. Even the one-time watch, you'll get a kick out of this fucking thing. And that's it. So just watch it one time and put it away or whatever. But it's a fucking movie that you want to watch. And that's it. I just recommend this fucking movie. I recommend an hour and 46 minutes. Yes. The only downside of this movie that I can think of is two people, two actors that bogged this movie down, that fucked this movie in a way where it almost fucked it hard. Now, everyone's going to praise Mr. David Tennant here playing Peter Vincent. Now, no, I don't like it. It's a Chris Angel type deal. I guess Chris Angel was hot back then or some shit. I mean, what is this, 2011? Yeah, Chris Angel's fucking on fire, right? He's levitating. He's making people disappear. He's a fucking awesome magician at the time, right, guys? Yeah. And So, anyways, I guess that was hot back then. He was doing a Vegas show at the time, so they spoof it off that or some shit. But anyways, Mr. David Tennant here, right in the beginning, you meet him and you do like him. You do like him. I like him. Didn't say I didn't like him. I like him. I like him as, doing his thing in the beginning, but then he takes the wig off and he starts talking, and I don't know, man. He has a couple good lines and a one little scene that's cool, but after that, it's like he's not the vampire hunter that you want in this movie to fight Colin Farrell. Look at fucking Colin, man. He is so good looking in this movie. Look at him, man. He is so fucking. Look at him, just chiseled looking vampire. He knew he had to bring his A game to this role, his A plus. Oh man, and that woman there, that actress is beautiful. She's easy on the eyes. You want Charlie to be with her, and you want her to live. You don't want Mr. Farrell here to get his fangs on her. That's for sure. Hell no, she's too pure for Farrell. And the mother, that's what bogs it down as well. This fucking mother, this Toni Collette. Guys, this Toni fucking Collette. I don't even want to talk. That's another video, a whole fucking separate 30-minute rant on her. But yeah, man, those two problems there bogged this movie down for me. But other than that, the movie's great. I recommend it. Let's go through the plot. I've ranted too much on this fucking thing. I just have to do it because I gotta show respect where respect is needed and due. This movie deserves a watch, and yeah, you should buy the Steelbook. You should buy the Blu-ray and put it in your collection, because this fucking movie would impress somebody or a girl or get close to her when you put this shit in, and it's a good entertaining watch, and she probably might remember it or be really into it. So, impress the chick, whatever, man. Fuck that. So, impress yourself when you're watching this shit. Props. Don't even know who directed it. Don't even want to give props there because it's Craig Gillespie, but whatever. It's all props goes to the actors in this movie. They make it believable. It has nothing to do with CGI or vampire fangs, and that's the thing about this movie. Before we go into this plot, I want to give it credit for that, for just relying on actors and pure fucking acting to just get it done, to make me not even care if there was CGI, not even care if there was cool vampire fangs or blood gushing, and you'll get that. You'll get that in the end. You'll get that what you want. Like I said, the movie delivers what you want. It's not a slow burn. You really don't want Charlie to meet his end. You don't want Charlie to meet the full force of Mr. Farrell here. You don't want it. Look at that shit. He pulls out a move there that, oh, you're not prepared for. So this movie you're not prepared for. And it's fucking good, man. Don't like I said, the only downsides is this fucking guy, this funny comedian guy. You really don't buy it. He's weak. He's weak, and he's weak. He even tells you he's weak. He doesn't want to fight these things, and Charlie wants to fight him because his friend was taken by them and is missing. It's just bullshit, dude. And he's got the proof and all. And this guy is so weak, and he just doesn't want to do nothing. It's like, and even to the end, he don't want to do nothing. To the last fucking, you'll see when we talk about it. He don't even want to show the fuck up. He's just like, yo, fuck it, Charlie. You got this against 20 vampires and Colin Farrell. But that's all right. I got all this equipment in my little place here, as you see, displayed for just no good fucking reason. But hands off. So, man, it's fucking stupid. They make him a jerk. They make him an asshole. You don't want to root for him. You don't want, it's just shit with that character. You gotta have some. You got the girl here, and see, she's out the picture because she is a vampire. So she can't really help Mr. Charlie here. And as in supporting cast-wise, as in helping him acting-wise and chemistry-wise. She helps him every time she's on screen with him. There's no doubt about it. These two, Anton don't need no fucking help, because he's an actor of epic proportions. He's a young blood, a young legend in his own right. He lives forever. There's no doubt about it. So shut the fuck up. This guy right here don't live forever. Nobody's going to remember this guy's name or talk about his character or talk about him as an actor. Fuck out of here. Anyways, let's go into it. And this guy here surprised me as well. Like I said, Mr. Kickass, he surprised me. Props to him. I like him. Something about him. He looks like Brandon Moreno from the UFC, as that fighter. But this is crazy shit. In that picture, he looks like that, I'm saying. Fuck this. Let's watch the trailer here. And let's get to the plot. I need something to drink. This is unbelievable. Awesome rant, done almost. Sorry, guys. Thanks for sticking it out, of course, like always. So, anyways, you meet up with Charlie Brewster right off the bat. Bam! He's, You know, right off the bat, let's get into it. There's a scene where they show a person with a family, and there's a lot of blood on the ground, and they're showing you in a way that you know something happened here real bad, and you can tell somebody's gotten hurt or murdered. You know. Anyways, they kick in with some really good music. This movie has some good music right in the beginning and in the middle, but really in the beginning they hit it with some music because the beginning of this movie is very memorable. Like going into the later half of it, it keeps you watching. So that's all I gotta say. Let's move on. And you meet up with Mr. Charlie Brewster, Anton Yelchin here, and he is got his motorcycle, his dirt bike. It's not working. He can't get to school. He meets a girl next door that used to babysit him. You know, she sees him once in a while. She says, "Hey, Charlie," says something. They laugh. The mother sees this interaction. She comments on it. Charlie says, basically mind your own fucking business. No, you don't. He's just like, yeah, yeah, ma. And she's complaining about this big ass dumpster that I'm freestyling this, but I will refer to it. You know how we do. And this big ass dumpster that's next door from Mr. Colin Farrell here, who is, that guy in the first movie did such a shit job with the really in all reality compared to Farrell. I don't remember this vampire's name. Oh God, what's his name? Jerry. That's it, Jerry. So Jerry, it's a good vampire name. It's funny. It's fucking works. Good shit. Always worked. Stick to what works. That's right. Keep it. Drag it to the next film. Correct. Good shit. Fright Night. 2011. So, anyways, Mr. Jerry here has a dumpster, as you can see here. He lives right next door. Blah 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 blah. But anyways, it's a good scene with them because it's Mr. Charlie here going to school. You meet his girlfriend and his girlfriend there, and it's a good chemistry, like I said. And they go to school. You meet some of their asshole friends, and you meet Mr. Kickass. And Mr. Kickass here says, "Listen, Charlie, our boy's missing from the beginning of this movie. There's some shit that I think went down. I can't get a hold of him. I don't want to contact the police. I just want to go over there first and check on him. I don't want to do all that. I just want to check on him." Makes sense. Whatever, I guess. So he's like, all right. And he's like, "Meet me after school," whatever. He's like, "Fuck you." Charlie Brewster's like, no, no, no. See, I got my friends watching and all this shit, and I'm this new cool dude, I don't do that shit that we used to do. I don't do that shit no more. So get the fuck out of here, you Mr. Kick-Ass. You ain't gonna kick my ass. But anyways, he threatens him, right? Which is cool. He pulls out, he's like, "Listen, you remember what we used to do?" And it's like everybody has that moment in their life where they have a best friend, and the best friend, you do something to the friend, and the friend has something over you, and that the shit ain't gonna end up well, that they're gonna use it against you, or they're gonna tell someone you're so fucking shitting your pants. So Mr. Brewster here starts shitting his pants. Literally, you could see it. Mr. Yelchin, props to you for shitting your pants. But yeah, it's a real good movie because it does exactly what it should do, and it acts like it's logical, and you can relate to the movie and these characters. So, like I said, they carry the movie. They do the movie. There's no CGI, no vampire blood, and all that shit. It's good. So, yeah, like I said, so he's like, "Yeah, fuck it." He's like, I'll do what you say, Mr. Kick-Ass. There's no doubt. So Charlie Brewster agrees to meet him after school to look about his friend at his friend's house. So he gets home from school, and you see, like I said in this trailer here, you meet Mr. Farrell, the head vampire, whatever you want to say, the big shit on the block, and he's looking all flexed. He's looking good. He's looking sweaty, dirty, and the mother's talking to him. Of course, he's got that attraction, that vampire scent. That aurora, whatever you want to call it, aroma and aura to him that women can't deny. It's not because he's Colin Farrell. It's just because he's a vampire and Colin Farrell. It's a deadly mixture, this fucking combination. And anyways, he's talking to the mother like she's gonna go spontaneously combust. She doesn't. Anyways, no. So they meet up with Jerry. You meet Jerry. You get to talk to Jerry. You get to see Jerry. You get to study Jerry. You get to come to the conclusion if Jerry is a fucking weirdo, and he is. So you can come to that conclusion. Anyways, he's got to go. Charlie's got to go. He looks at his clock, his phone. He's like, the dude, Kick-Ass sends him a fucking photo of him just dressed up as a Ninja Turtle or some shit. It's hilarious. You feel it, and he's got to run. He's got to scat. He's got to go. He's got to dip out, right? He's got to bounce from this situation, and he gets out of there to save his ass. He tells this woman nothing. He's just like, "I gotta go." He tells his mom, "I gotta go." She's like, "Well, I got dinner on." It's like, "What do you got on, Tony Collette? Some fucking Kraft mac and cheese? I mean, really, come on, man." So anyways, he hauls ass and he goes towards Mr. Kick-Ass, and they meet at the friend's house that you saw in the beginning of this movie, getting just ripped to shreds or whatever the fuck was happening to him, hiding under the bed, pleading for his fucking life. And they break in or whatever, they break in, and he's like, oh shit, Brewster's like, oh my god, he's like, Mr. Kick-Ass here is taking this shit way too far, and he's like, what are you on, like, what is going on here? Why are you acting like this over our homie? He's probably just on vacation. But we've come to find out, and we know that Mr. Kick-Ass here has a lot. He has a lot of evidence and proof, and he has some phenomenal shit at his house on computer. And he mentions that briefly. He doesn't bring it on his cell phone or anything like that, of course, but he has it on his fucking computer. So yeah, I'm not gonna mention any details, guys. You know how we do. Fuck all that. We're just doing the plot basics here. So yeah, and this movie was successful. Oh, a little. Should have been a lot successful, but I'm gonna wrap this shit up because I'm talking way too long about this. So it's Rant, and yeah. So like I said, Mr. Charlie here with his friend go through the house. They can't find a damn thing, but this whole time, or you know because you see a shadow. They show you, and maybe the second time you watch this movie, you'll catch it. But it took me maybe a couple times, and I caught it. But this movie's good like that. They got some good shit. Pay attention. So anyways, Charlie does what he's got to do. He goes home. The next day, guess who doesn't show up? His friend at school. His friend's missing now. Mr. Kick-Ass is missing. But you see a really cool scene just before this on what happened to Mr. Kick-Ass, and I just want you to watch the movie to see that scene. It's really good, and we can all relate, and it works for the character, and he runs into his asshole friend. That's a bitch. And well, let's just go to this shit. So, yada, 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 he's missing. So Charlie, of course, goes to his house. Got a cool-ass room, of course, Mr. Kick-Ass. You want to be in that room and chill. It feels safe. It feels safe. And Mr. Kick-Ass, of course, isn't there. Charlie goes through the computer where he said the evidence was of Mr. Jerry being a vampire. And guess what? He wasn't lying. The evidence is there. And boy, oh boy, it rocks, Mr. Brewster. You can tell Mr. Brewster is rocked. And he goes walking home, and he's looking over his shoulder and shit. And guess what? The fucking garbage cans, guys. The stupid garbage cans that you got to bring the fuck in or whatever at night or out there. And he's got to do it because his mommy's not home or whatever, doesn't do shit. And yeah, his girlfriend don't do shit around the house, just laying in the bed waiting for him to bang, or get the guts up to kiss her or whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to get into all that talk. Let's go to it. So he brings in the fucking garbage cans. And guess who he runs into? Mr. Jerry. Because Mr. Jerry here, he ain't stupid. Mr. Jerry's keeping an eye out on everybody in the neighborhood. I got an eye on you, Tony. Mrs. Collette. So look at this fucking guy. He's got his eyes everywhere. He knows. Look at him. He's looking everywhere. Look at every time in his trailer. He's looking. He knows everything. And I love it because it's how vampires should. A vampire should know everything in the neighborhood. He should know everything that's happening around him. It's fucking great. You feel the threat of Mr. Farrell, every fucking second in this movie. As soon as you're introduced to him, he's on the screen. It's like, oh shit, this guy's around every corner. This guy knows. Like, this scene here is so good. Thank you, this movie. Thank you. Way better than the 80s version. I'm telling you guys, shit's on it for suspense, for thrills, keeping you watching, wanting to watch it again. Music, acting. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, the 80s had way better effects, no doubt. See, guys, way better practical effects. See, I'm not biased, I'm honest. You're fucking right. I'm telling you what I enjoyed. All right, that's it. I'm just telling you what I enjoy. I'm telling you, that's it, my thoughts. So, let's move on. So anyways, they go in. Let's wrap this shit up. So, he goes in, blah, 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 blah. He's like, he's fucking with Mr. Brewster here. Really, really good. And I liked it. So it's a great scenes between these guys, man. Yelchin and Farrell. Oh, top notch. Gosh, Yelchin. He's a legend. He could have been so much more than he just is starting out to be. It's crazy. I love him as an actor. Fucking poor thing, Would it just... Anyways, let's move on from that. So I start crying. So anyways, he fucking... yeah, this shit happening, but he goes home and he sees that neighbor that I mentioned earlier that he talked to that used to babysit him is going over to Mr. Farrell's house, and he knows that's not going to end well. He wants to get in there and save her. He hears some screaming. He calls the cops like everybody would do. His chick is like, what the fuck you concentrating on that for? You should be out here loving me. She gets out of there. He hears more screaming after the cops leave because, of course, Farrell's just too smart. He knows how to handle these popo. So the popo leave, and then, Brewster has to take it upon himself to save the girl. He knows she's in there and something happened, and he's got to, of course he knows. Then he goes in there. How does he not know? He saw the evidence. He knows this guy's a fucking vampire. So, and she's not coming out once she goes in. And anyways, he finds the girl in this really fucking sick ass thing that Mr. Farrell built. Oh boy, for his lunch. And yeah, it's a great scene. Great. And the whole time you know what's up. He knows. So you think it's just great. I don't even want to discuss the details of it. I want you to watch it and see it and come out and comment to me and tell me. So anyways, they do that, yada, yada, yada. They come out, and Mr. Brewster here, from this point on, after he tries to save his babysitter, and she ends up being killed, of course, not making it, he's on edge. And he knows it. He's on edge because Jerry's next door, and Jerry's knows that he knows. You already know what's up. So it's terrible. It's terrible for Mr. Brewster. And his girlfriend, too. She's not getting any because this man is not sleeping. He's not eating. He tells his mother in this one scene, guys, don't talk to Jerry. Don't let him in the house. Don't talk to him. And she's like, says this line. She's like, what do you think? I'm a crazy person? Like a crazy woman. That's what she says. What do you think? I'm a crazy woman? Some crazy woman or some lunatic woman? I don't know what the fuck. There's something about with how she says it, what she says, the dialogue. And yeah, like, what is she, why does she say that? Like, that's not logical when he's saying, listen, Mom, this fucking guy's a bad guy, he's Jerry, he's bad, I found something out. Basically, that's what he's saying, and that's what he's saying. Like, he's not saying it directly, but he's telling you, he knows something. Just don't answer the fucking door, don't deal with him. And he's acting frantically, and she knows it. She points it out for a second, like, what's going on? Like, why are you acting like that? And he tells her, and then she comes back with that line. Like, what do you mean? I'm not some crazy person. And it's like, what do you mean? You're just talking to him. He's your next door fucking neighbor. He's like, he's got that. You're going to let him in. You're going to talk to him. It's Jerry. You know what I mean? Like, so why would you say something like, she's so fucking bonehead. Like, I hate the delivery from her. I don't believe her. Like, I think it's hard for her. It's hard for her at times to change her acting or change her delivery. I don't know what it is. There's something hard for this woman. But anyways, let's move on. So Jerry, Jerry's doing his thing, and like I told you, Brewster's on edge this whole time, and finally he's gonna collide. It's gonna happen. Jerry's gotta confront Mr. Brewster. He's got to, and he's already told his mom, and his girlfriend knows something. And finally, in the living room one night, it all comes to a head. And I skipped the part where, of course, Mr. Brewster meets up with David Tennant here, Peter Vincent, because it's so subsequential to the movie, because it doesn't affect the movie, only for the bad. So I want to skip over that fucking part. You meet up with him and shit, and he's got some hot chicks, but there's no action from the hot chicks. There's nothing to see, and there's nothing to hear, so move on from that fucking part. And he doesn't even really come into the picture, guys. So fuck all that, because he's scaredy cat. Scaredy cat. Scaredy cat. Van Helsing there. Scaredy cat. So let's go to it. Yelchin, the man. So anyways, like I said, yeah, cool, man. I would love to listen to this guy, man, because I would love to listen to the interview of this movie. So he fucking Farrell confronts, he knocks on the front door, he confronts the family, he confronts Brewster. He's like, get Brewster out here, makes up something that Brewster did to get him outside so he can take care of this problem, and they can open the door and he can get in there and take care of this problem so he can silence them, so he can just continue to live quietly and kill these victims and live and eat in peace, because he fucked up, or I don't know if he fucked up. We're not gonna go through that. This is long enough, this awesome rant for this fucking movie. And yeah. So, bada, like I say, always like I say, wrapping it up. And yeah, he confronts them. He does some really cool shit to get them out of the house. You'll see it. and there's a chase scene, and they meet up with the dude from back in 80's who played the head vampire, and they, do a little throwback, which is cool, and they murder him. If you haven't seen the first one, you wouldn't know that. I know a lot of you haven't seen it, but you shouldn't have seen the first one. That's good. You shouldn't know who this fucking guy is. Farrell takes him out in such a gangster way. It's very, very cool. There's a cool little scenes there, and then they, obviously, thank God that the mother's in the hospital laid up, so Bruce up to Brewster to go, of course, Mr. David Tennant, to take out Mr. Colin Farrell and his horde of vampires. In the meantime, he runs into his friend here, Mr. Kick-Ass, and Kick-Ass looks awesome. Great makeup, great effects, great fight between him and his old best friend, and it is so fucking cool. It's good. Credit to them. And Farrell's chasing his girl. In the meantime, he does get her. He gets the girl, of course, infects her with to be a vampire. Very cool. Brings her back to his lair, what have you. He figures out where the lair is eventually, and he goes back with Mr. Tennant here, who shows up finally after chickening out multiple times, and you don't even know if he's gonna flake out. And he doesn't even do nothing really. He just takes himself out with a bunch of vampires at the end to help Mr. Yelchin here take out Farrell one-on-one. It happens. I think the girlfriend helps. I don't really remember the end. I do have to admit the ending was forgettable. They dragged it out too long. It could have been more cooler. It could have been more simple. Would have been cooler. Would have been more effective. But it wasn't. Anyways, at the end, it's cool because you want them to finally make love and can consummate their relationship forever. They do. Brewster and his girlfriend do that with the help of Mr. Tennant here in this little apartment. So that's okay. Didn't mind that. He ended up being a good guy, Mr. Tennant. And yeah, that's it, man. That is it. So thank you guys for listening to this awesome fucking rant. I'm done. I hate this shit. I shouldn't even went this long. Thank you guys. Peace.